Fungi. Fungi are the organisms which have received a separate kingdom status. So if you see the Whittaker's classification in the Whittaker's five kingdom concept, fungi have been given a separate kingdom status. The study of fungi is mycology, and these fungi are the organisms which are being discovered for the first time by Agostino Bessi in the year 1835. And the fungal organisms are eukaryotic microorganisms and they are non motile in nature. These fungi can be either obligate or facultative aerobic organisms. In some fungal organisms are obligate in their aerobic requirements, that is, in requirement for oxygen, which are also known as stringent aerobes. Some fungi are facultative in their nature. Fungi are, in general, chemoorganotrophic microorganisms and they are spore bearing protists. And these organisms lack chlorophyll, means they will not contain any chlorophyll content. Means some of the characteristics will be like plant, and these organisms will be lacking chlorophyll, but the fungal microorganisms will be reproducing either by asexual means or sexual means. Fungi are the organisms which contain very much a rigid cell wall which is chitinized in its nature, and the cell membrane of the fungi is made up of sterols. So these two are the important constituents in the fungal structure which will make the organisms very much ubiquitous in nature. The action of any drug, etc., can be considered if you take into the case the nature of the cell wall. So chitinous nature as well as sterols that are present in the fungal cytoplasmic membrane will offer certain sites for the action of certain drugs. So antifungal agents, whatever are there, they will be targeted onto these rigid cell walls. I mean, some of the agents will be targeted onto these rigid cell wall. So that is all about general characteristics of fungal microorganisms. And coming to their nature, fungi are the ones which are lacking chlorophyll, of course. And one more nature is they are cenocytic in their nature. So, what is cenocyticity is they will be containing multiple nuclei in their cells. Some fungi will be septate in nature, and some fungi will be aseptate in nature. Those fungi which are having septa, you can see separate segregation among such fungal bodies. So septate fungi will be uninucleate, whereas aseptate fungi means those fungi which will lack septa, they'll be representing several nuclei in their cells. So such condition, that is presence of multiple nuclei in a cell, is described as cenocytic condition. Coming to the nature of the fungi, these fungi are saprophytic in their nature. So what is saprophytic nature is they'll be feeding on dead and decaying matter. So generally, if you see or observe the fungal structures, they will be depending on the organic matter that is present in the substratum, and they can absorb the nutrients from that particular substratum by their simple hyphal structure. So these fungi are saprophytic in their nature. So cenocytic in nature, saprophytic in nature, they are aerobic, either facultative or obligate, and chemoorganotrophic organisms, spore-bearing microorganisms that lack chlorophyll. And coming to the morphology of fungi, fungi are broadly classified based on the type of cells that are present, whether they are unicellular or multicellular, as yeasts and molds. Yeasts are single cellular in nature or unicellular in nature, whereas molds are multicellular. And mold structure, whatever is there, it is mycelial structure. Examples under molds include Penicillium, Chrysogenum, etc., Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus japonicus, etc. And some fungi will be existing in either forms. They are known as dimorphic fungi. So these dimorphic fungi are, you have the examples of Sporothrix as well as Blastomyces. These dimorphic fungi will be existing in two forms generally. So one form is known as parasitic and the other form is saprophytic. So saprophytic will be feeding on dead and decaying organic matter. Coming to the classification of fungi. So fungi are classified mainly based on the presence or absence of septum. If you see the broad classes of fungi, the various divisions under the kingdom fungi, you have Zygomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. Zygomycetes are the ones which contain aseptate hyphae, example being a rhizopus, and they'll be reproducing by asexual spores as well as sexual spores. Ascomycetes is a group which includes septate hyphae, example being yeast. They'll be reproducing by sexual spores, that is, ascospores. Basidiomycetes. These include septate hyphae, which include smuts as well as mushrooms. They'll be reproducing by sexual spores, that is, basidiospores. And Deuteromycetes. So Deuteromycetes are the group of or the division of fungi which contain septate hyphae, but there are no sexual spores in these organisms. So generally they'll be reproducing by asexual means only. So these Deuteromycetes mainly will be reproducing by asexual means. Whereas the other groups of fungi, other divisions of fungi, Zygomycetes, Asco, as well as Basidiomycetes, they show mostly sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. Reproduction in fungi. So, as I said already, fungal reproduction will be occurring either by asexual means or sexual means. First, let us see what is asexual reproduction in fungi. The asexual reproduction in fungi will be occurring by production of certain spores, which are broadly named as arthrospores, chlamydiospores, sporangiospores, conidiospores, and blastospores. These spores can further be classified as vegetative spores and aerial spores. So, vegetative spores are the ones which will be bared by the vegetative hyphal body itself, whereas aerial spores are the one which will be borne by aerial conidiophore or aerial sporangiophore. So, the vegetative spores include blastospores, and these blastospores are observed in fungal divisions like Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Zygomycetes. So these are the blastospores. So these blastospores will be produced from the vegetative cell body itself. Means the how your yeast will be reproducing. So in a similar way, these blastospores will be released from the fungal vegetative cell itself. Means by simple budding process, these will be released. Then orthospores. Trichosporium is one, and geotrichum is one, which will be reproducing by orthospores. So how your fungal body will be reproducing by a simple fragmentation process. In a similar way, these arthrospores will be released by fragmentation process from the fungal vegetative body itself. Then chlamydiospores. Candida albicans is one which will be reproducing by chlamydiospores. These chlamydiospores, if you compare with the other vegetative spores, these will be tough in their lining, and these will be formed either in the terminal region of the fungal hyphal body, vegetative hyphal body, or in the intercalary region, means in the middle, or in the eccentric region we call, or sometimes in the lateral sides also. So lateral hyphae in the sense, if you observe the fungal hyphal structure. So the fungal hyphal, so fungal hyphal body will be containing thallus, and it will be containing the mycelium will be containing several branches. And in these branches, the chlamydiospores can be formed either in the central part of that hyphae, which is called as intercalary one, or in the terminal region of the hyphal structure, which is terminal, or in the lateral branches. Means in the lateral side of the branch also you can see the production of chlamydiospores. These chlamydiospores are the ones which contain tough walls, and they are much resistant compared to other vegetative spores. Then aerial spores. Among aerial spores, you have conidiospores as well as sporangiospores. Conidiospores are being produced by Penicillium chrysogenum as well as Aspergillus species. We observe these conidiospores. These conidiospores will be born within a specific structure that is known as conidium. And conidium will be bearing the conidiospores outside that particular conidium. And the stalk-like structure which is bearing the conidium is known as the conidiophore. Coming to sporangiospores. So sporangiospores are born within the sac-like structure that is known as sporangium, and the stalk-like structure which is bearing the sporangium is known as sporangiophore. Coming to sexual reproduction, the sexual reproduction in fungi will be occurring by three different steps. One is plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis. Plasmogamy includes the union of plasma. Then karyogamy is nothing but the union of nuclei, and because the union of nuclei will be taking place, diploid structure will be resulted, and then meiosis will be happening so that gametes will be generated. The various steps that are involved in sexual reproduction include the gametic copulation. After the gametes are being formed, they'll be copulated. Then they'll be resulting in the formation of gametangial copulation, then somatic copulation, and then spermatization will be taking place. So by all these processes, the process of sexual reproduction in the fungi will be taking place. So if you see the process, the stepwise process, this is gametic copulation. It can be isogamy or anisogamy. Then the gametangial copulation, resulting in the copulation of sporangium as well as ogonium, and then somatic copulation, and then spermatization. So spermatization will be resulting in the formation of the hyphal structures. So which can be either a positive strand or a negative strand. So that is how you observe the reproduction in fungi by sexual means. The different sexual spores that are involved in the reproduction by sexual means in fungi include ascospores, basidiospores, oospores, and zygospores. So these are the ascospores which are born within a sac-like structure that is known as ascus. These are oospores, and you have zygospores. And these are the basidiospores. So ascospores are born within a sac-like structure that is known as ascus, and oospores are born within oophores, and these are zygospores. So zygospores are generally produced by the two hyphal structures that are meeting each other, which will result in the formation of the zygospore. And basidiospores are the ones which are born by a specific structure or sac-like structure which will bear the basidiospores on its tip, is known as the basidium. So basidium will be bearing the basidiospores. So that is all about sexual reproduction in fungi. Then cultivation of fungi. So fungi will be growing in different conditions. So based on the requirements the fungal body needs, you have to provide those conditions such that the fungi will be reproducing very easily. So as I said already, fungi are chemoorganotrophic organisms. Hence, can provide chemical substances for the cultivation of fungi. Fungi are facultative aerobic organisms or obligate aerobic organisms. So some fungi requires aeration as a must for their growth, whereas other fungi can grow even in the absence of oxygen. So based on that, you need to provide proper aeration, then desirable chemical substances for their growth, and the pH of the medium has to be generally maintained within 5 to 6.5. That is, fungi will be generally growing in the acidic pH range. And the favorable condition for the growth of fungi is between 20 to 25 degrees centigrade. So it is 25 degrees centigrade. 20 to 25 degrees centigrade means much below the room temperature. If it is very much cool enough, then only fungal organisms will be growing with much vigor and vitality. Then compared to bacteria, the amount of nitrogen that is required by the fungal organisms is a bit less comparatively. So around 14% of nitrogen is necessary for the growth of fungi. Then the moisture content must be very much good enough. So fungi will be growing well in high moist environments. High moist in the sense around 15% of moisture is necessary for their growth. So such conditions have to be provided in order to see that the fungal organisms will be multiplying rapidly. Then coming to the growth of fungi. So fungi will be favored in presence of different media. Among those media, you have potato dextrose agar medium, which is popularly known as PDA medium. That is general medium we'll be using in the laboratory. Apart from that, Sabrot's dextrose agar medium is also one of the medium which favors the growth of fungi. So this is a scientist who has formulated that particular medium. Hence, the name of the medium is being given on his name, that is Sabarot's dextrose agar medium. Apart from this, some specific fungi require certain media, like Chapax medium is one which is required by Aspergillus species for their growth. So that is all about the fungi, their characteristics, morphology, reproduction, cultivation, and growth in specified media.